We are back. Welcome back to the Legacy Tour Huntsville at JC's House of Cards. We are in the semifinals where we're going to feature Miracle's master, Chihoy Yim, against Grixis Delver, piloted by JC Goldman. I'm Zachary Cook, your host, and I'm joined by co-host Lane Fox.
Hey, how's everyone going? Well, I've got JC, and you've got Chihoy.
You know, we've got their deck list in front of us. We've seen JC earlier in the tournament. Chihoy appears to be running a much more traditional version of Miracles. I know he had been on the Monastery Mentor version, running Ponders and a few less land and all that. But this looks like he's gone back in time 3 years, and now he has no Ponders. He's got the pair of Entreat the Angels, a Counterspell, 2 Council's Judgments. This is like I said, this is a very traditional list. The full set of both Terminus and Swords to Plowshares. He's ready to.
This is original gangster, right?
Yeah, ready to take on some Delver and fair deck strategies.
Yeah,
so.
It's like Dragons never happen.
Yeah.
I'm a fan though of Mentor. It seems to speed up your clock a little bit, but it's fun too. I mean, it was a deck before Mentor, and I think that's what Chihoy's remembering.
I think one of the neatest things to come out of Monastery Mentor's printing is that now you have multiple versions of Miracles.
Oh,
you know, before you were basically
different flavors,
heavy on Jason the Mind Sculptor and Entreat the Angels as your win conditions, and now some of them they rely solely on Entreat and Jace. Some have gone up to 3 or 4 Monastery Mentors. Some are hybridized, like I know Joe Lissette is a sort of a popular Miracles player, and he's big on playing just a single Mentor with no Entreats, but then he has maybe another Mentor on the sideboard. Ooh. Anyway,
look, JC's deck's doing what it's supposed to this game.
Well, when Delver flips.
Yeah, you know, and that daze off the top too, that's pretty powerful.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness!
So it looks like with the reveal trigger on the stack. So before JC could draw the daze, Chihoy was trying to go for a Swords to Plowshares. Is my guess.
And got stifled.
Yep.
That's pretty painful.
Oh, yeah, and he's already on a mulligan to 6, so I don't know how many lands he has to spare.
Yeah, and he's got the daze in hand. And
so, yeah, Chihoy knows that if he has a Swords to Plowshares now, it won't work because the daze is available. Yeah, this is a rough start for Chihoy.
Yeah, like I said, I like to play Delver and flip a Mana Leak and just kind of hide behind that. And it's sort of the same thing JC's doing right now. The Ponder probably just making things worse. So
now Chihoy is cracking his fetch land in response to this Ponder, I believe because he doesn't want. If JC has a second Stifle, it means he'll have to crack his fetch land first to use it, or to cast it, and then he wouldn't be able to shuffle after the Ponder. It's like a lot of times what happens with the Ponders, you only want one of the cards.
Yes.
And you want to be able to shuffle the rest of them away with your fetch land. So.
Yeah. So he's just going to.
Looks like he drew that land. He played it for the turn, and I don't know if if JC has a follow up or not.
I think maybe he was bluffing to go ahead and play the swords there to make him spend the days. If he was going to do that. Yeah.
So I'm not sure whose turn it is right now, but no, Chihoy is definitely not going to play into the days. I think that would be.
Well, I was thinking even if it was just to get out of his hand and to make him. Crack and shuffle away.
Well, it's one of the nice things with Miracles. Assuming you're not under too much pressure, you can play around most of the soft permission. So a card like Daze, going late doesn't have a lot of value.
Yeah, it's just dead after that.
And I think it's very likely that Chihoy, if he can afford to wait, he will.
Yeah. I didn't get to see how many lands were in his opening hand either.
No,
I don't know if it's landline. I don't know how bad that Stifle hurt. I mean, it hurt bad, but
well, it also really hurts to have the Flooded Strand stifled because I get the feeling he wanted to go for an island.
Oh yeah,
probably for like a Ponder, or for an end of turn Brainstorm or something of that nature. But he wasn't able to, and now with the Arid Mesa, if he wanted to get blue mana, he would have had to fetch a non-basic, and he doesn't want to play into the Wastelands. Well, there's the Swords to Plowshares. Like we figured. Well, wonder if JC is going to try and fight over this. Obviously, the days wouldn't do it. Okay, he's going to let it resolve. That sort of implies that JC might have either a second daze or a force of will. Anyway, this was all in response to the fetch land.
Yeah.
Which I guess JC did at the end of the turn? Maybe he has a spell he wants to cast end of turn? If not, that's sort of a slip-up. If he's not casting a spell end of turn, he could have waited to crack that until his own upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have had mana available for like a Spell Pierce or something.
Let's see.
Now, the players in this top 8, most of them, or I'm sorry, we're at top 4 now, are familiar with what their opponents are playing, although they do not have featured on YouTube. It's going to be weekly, semi-weekly, something like that. Just matches of Magic being played. The first video series was Legacy, featuring Zachary Cuck and Drake Sasser playing the Legacy format. And the future videos will probably encompass all the formats, all the constructed formats anyway. Check them out at MTG Training Grounds on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in. I'm actually going to try to see if I can get in on some of those too. I could definitely be doing better in Legacy. All right, so
on to the sideboards.
Yeah,
you've got JC's. What do you see here? What do you like? What do you not like?
No Rod, I believe, of course, comes in.
No Rod's great against Sensei's top.
Yeah, let's see. Other than that, Pyroblast probably.
Pyroblast is great. It's a good answer to Jace. Good
and Dithing Needle, of course, for Jace, or the Divining Top. I don't know if you want Cabal Therapy. What do you think?
Cabal Therapy it's tough against Miracles, see, because Miracles plays is primarily off the top of their deck, and you can't therapy the top of their deck away. So it's good early game, late game it's pretty terrible. I think it's more likely you'll see the Spell Pierce and the Flusterstorm though as additional answers to Terminus.
Some more counters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're good replacements for cards like Force of Will, which is inherent card disadvantage and makes it hard to beat Miracles.
Yeah, so that's probably better than the Pyroblast. So yeah, maybe Spell Pierce, Null Rod, Dithing Needle.
Yeah. On the Miracles side, we've got 2 Flusterstorms. I think those will come in. 2 Vendilion Clicks. I think those are likely to come in as well. Pyroblast and Red Elemental Blast, maybe, depending on how much Chihui values fighting over opposing counterspells or Delvers. The Izzet Static Caster is almost a lock to come in. I realize there's a typo there. Blood Moon is certainly coming in. That card is very good against JC's all non-basic mana base.
Yes.
Pyroclasm is also very good. That should be a wrath against everything but the Gurmag Angler. And then I don't believe Entreat, Ethersworn Canonist, Wear Tear, or Containment Priest is likely to come in. I guess there could be some argument for Wear Tear if he anticipates the Null Rod.
Yeah, maybe.
As a counter to the counter.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm totally with you on on Blood Moon. I always get nervous whenever I see the Miracles player fetching for basics early. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, you can't tell if they're planning to moon you or if they're just playing around Wasteland.
To moon you, yeah, that's actually probably a pretty good way of saying it. Now, because at this point, what are you doing?
Your match in this tournament was against Miracles.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have much experience playing against the deck.
I've played against it mostly with Merfolk. I chose Merfolk for one of my other Legacy tournaments just because it's so proactive. I don't really have to. I mean, I have the Force of Will, but other than that, I'm just taking dudes and turning them sideways.
Well, you alluded to liking or really enjoying that sort of tempo aggro style deck.
Especially in Legacy, too. I mean, there's so many islands that, unlike in Modern where you have to make islands.
Oh, with Spreading Seas, yeah.
With Spreading Seas, yeah. Everyone's already on islands, so you're just,
Yeah, actually, I've had that come up in some Legacy matches. I used to play Punishing Jund, and they just, most of the Merfolk players, they just take it for granted that their creatures are unblockable.
Yeah.
It's just sort of assumed because, 80% of the format is blue that there must always be an island over there, but that's definitely not the case.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've been real impressed with Master of Waves, though. They really don't have a lot of answers for him, being pro-red. And
sure, in Modern, yeah.
He's too big for Abrupt Decay, so, yeah.
Yeah, you don't see him so much in the Legacy version just because 4 mana is a huge cost.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's way too much for them. But, yeah, in Modern, it's been a trump for me. It's like we got a mulligan going on here on JC's side.
Yeah, I didn't get a look at what he had, but my assumption is it must have been land light. Or, well, yeah, probably land light because he's only running about 18 lands, and 4 of those are wastelands, so really only about 14 lands.
Yeah. Man.
There's definitely a cost to playing these land light, super tempo aggressive decks in Legacy, and that is that you're going to mulligan some number of games where you just don't have a land to get everything rolling.
Yeah, but that was played out really well. Those Stifles did a lot of work.
Stopping
the Miracles, And
the fetch land, just leaving Chihui.
Yeah, one mana Stone Rain is pretty rough, especially when you're having land problems anyway.
And that's the best opener he could have.
Yeah.
They get the top down early, and actually having a basic land to cast it with is really big too.
Oh yeah, and this makes me even more frightened for the Blood Moon.
Really worried about that Blood Moon, aren't we?
I am. I mean, there's been lots of games where I've just sat around and watched things happen to me.
I see a basic island, a brainstorm, and a second Sensei's top. So this is a pretty good setup. But when he had another basic island in hand, yeah, Chihui is completely safe from wastelands. This is a very good start for him. If JC doesn't get on the table quick, I think he'll manage to. Chihui will manage to lock this up pretty easily.
Yeah. See, that's something being someone that's not so familiar. Yeah, it's really good to not get wastelanded as well. That's another.
So this Gitaxian Probe reveals. It looks like JC is going to take a photograph instead of writing his opponent's hand down. Again, reminder to all of our viewers, this was not a competitive REL event, nor was it a sanctioned event, so players are allowed to use their phones during the matches, although we encourage them to avoid doing so. JC is simply using it as an alternative to writing down the contents of Chihui's hand. I know I've given JC a hard time in the past about being kind of lazy, and that takes the cake right there.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at JC's list, and he, we're left to kind of figure out Bolt. We know that that's Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, he took some liberties with abbreviating his deck list. Again, because this is not a competitive or sanctioned event.
Yeah, I don't think Star City would be too happy with C. They're like, there are no C's in the game, right? They're underground C's, but yeah. I just gotta pick on
Yeah.
him. I gotta pick on him some.
Just generic C and Delta, Misty,
Yeah.
Tarn. Yes, I see. He was very,
Yeah.
very shortcut. Well, in any event,
Yeah.
he's casting a Ponder into a known Spell Pierce, so I guess he must have, his hand must be good enough that he was willing to have this Ponder Spell Pierced. Or he's daring Chihoy to use it on the Ponder and not save it for a Stifle or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, just bait it out.
I love the mind game with cantrips and the timing of your land drops. See, because we're left to wonder if he's digging for a land or if he had it all along.
Yeah.
And Chihoy has probably had to sweat it even worse. You know, is he digging for land? Could I mana screw him here? And of course, the land he draws is off the top of the land he plays, so we still don't know if he has another one in hand or not. Oh, and there's two more islands, basic islands. Chihoy is completely wasteland proof at this point, and that's Arid Mesa can easily fetch for
that's a Scalding Tarn, I think.
well, no, JC's is. I'm sorry,
okay.
Chihoy's Arid Mesa
okay.
can fetch for another basic, either an island or not an island, a mountain or a plains, and he'll remain. Although I don't know if Chihoy's list actually has a basic mountain. It appears it does not. Actually, he has one red mana source in the entire deck. That seems risky.
What is he? Is he just playing one volcanic?
One volcanic island. No basic mountain anywhere in the 75, and no second, like not even a plateau, which I realize most Miracles players don't play plateau anymore, but just one red source. And he has a fair number of red cards in his sideboard. That does seem really risky to go down that line. But whatever, he's had plenty of success. I trust he knows how to play Miracles better than I do.
Yeah.
And JC not presenting a threat here. This is real bad news. That looks like a Vendilion Click and a Jace the Mind Sculptor and a Scalding Tarn, I think? Yeah, Scalding Tarn. Yeah, Chihoy just has all the pieces. I think if JC doesn't get something going soon, he's just going to get pushed right out of this game.
Yeah, I kind of feel like JC, he needs to start digging with some way to kind of interact with what Chihoy has going on. Any of his sideboard stuff that we talked about, like the, well, maybe not any of it, the Pithing Needle would be great right now.
As an answer to the top, because it's just, Chihoy's card quality has improved tremendously because of it.
He doesn't know about the Jace yet, which, of course, I don't really feel like he has a way to interact with the Jace unless he brought in the Pyroblast.
It's likely he would have. The Pyroblast is really good in this matchup, both as a way to stop. And there's a Vendilion Click. I was going to say as a way to stop Jace the Mind Sculptor and counterbalance before they hit the table, and to deal with them after they're on the table. So looks like we're going to see a Pyroblast here. I think we got one red. Oh, with the trigger on the stack, he's lightning bolting. So he actually does have the Pithing Needle, just opted not to play it, or maybe just drew it this turn and decided that Deathrite was a better threat or more important. A pair of Gurmag Anglers is no good. I don't think.
I feel like the Pithing goes.
He may actually just leave him with all these cards.
Really, it's still fine. I mean,
the other key here is he doesn't have a Force of Will.
That's true.
So Chihoy can resolve the Jace the Mind Sculptor next turn, guaranteed. And if he sends any of these cards away, there's a chance he draws into a Force of Will. Although, if he resolves Jace the Mind Sculptor, Pithing Needle can deal with it. So, I'm not sure if he'll take anything or not. Yep, looks like he is going with the Needle. So, I assume this means his intent, Chihoy's intent is to resolve Jace the Mind Sculptor next turn.
Yeah.
And there's a chance he may have like a Pyroblast or a Spell Pierce. Yeah, I see he has a Spell Pierce. He's got that in reserve. So
Here comes Jace.
He plans to use those things to protect. Oh, and he's picking up the Death. Yeah, so now Jace on an empty board. That's the ideal.
Yeah.
Now he can begin brainstorming. I think he might have a Terminus he can put back and really take advantage of JC's lack of threats, lack of interaction.
Yeah. Not really operating on 2 lands too is hurting him a lot too. I mean, he's not being able to play multiple spells a turn. And then he's gonna be like he has a spell pierce over on the other side too. That's gonna like hurt. You can't play around the spell pierce.
No, and he's aware of the spell pierce from that Gitaxian probe
Yeah.
earlier, so this is the same scenario as before where he has a lot of business cards in hand, but most of them aren't gonna do anything in the face of a spell pierce and a Jace the Mind Sculptor. He's got it covered on both ends.
Yeah, and then I'm assuming next turn Jace is just gonna start screwing up the draws worse. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't see another land. Maybe
So
you roll
he's
off
got
this probe.
Pierce. Oh, there's no cards in the yard, so the Snapcaster isn't great value yet. But like I said, he can put the Terminus back on top next turn and then set up.
Just kind of hang back on Jace.
He's also drawing a Sensei's Divining Top next turn, so he'll
Yeah.
have a lot of manipulation ability. Imagine this is the Death Right again.
Yep. I guess at that point, at least you're doing something. Now it's life loss too, and not damage, so he's not going to be slowing down Jace any.
Correct.
So
More lands, looks like a Force of Will, and another Sensei's Top, I think. I think he picked up the Terminus there. He's planning to start putting this away for good. Now, bear in mind, JC still has a Stifle in hand, so the Terminus isn't a guarantee, although between the Spell Pierce and the Force of Will, I think he's pretty well set up to fight over any permission JC has.
Oh, Cabal Therapy.
Wonder if this will prompt Chihoi to
I think he's
Miracle
gonna
and
go ahead and-
Terminus.
Yeah, I figured maybe that's pierceable. I mean, he knows what's in your hand. You know, do you just pay for it? You think at this point?
You can pay
Yeah,
for it, and then
no Terminus.
you can easily flash it back as well.
Yep.
Now, if he goes for Terminus, he's going to be sadly disappointed that it is no longer in his hand. Although I'm pretty sure JC could have predicted that that was coming. So he got the Snapcaster he knew about. There's still a Brainstorm and a Force of Will in hand. I think we'll see. I think we're likely going to see him flash the Cabal Therapy back because he knows
Yeah.
he knows the Terminus is on top of the deck.
Yeah, because it's no longer in his hand. No,
Oh, I see.
he may have
I
forgotten.
see what he's going for here.
Oh, what's going on?
He still has a Stifle. And he
Oh,
wants
that's
to use
true.
that on the Terminus.
I forgot about Stifle.
I don't think that's the best line though. Yeah,
No.
see, even Chihoi's playing around it now.
But at this rate too, I mean, when else are you going to be using the Stifle? You know, I guess you can try to put it back on top with Brainstorm or something.
Oh wait, this game is just about over.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
JC has no pressure, and although Chihoi hasn't started using the Jace ticking it up,
Yeah.
I just can't imagine it's gonna.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where Delver totally doesn't want to find. So you've got a player at 20 life, you don't have them on any sort of clock, and they have
More mana, more cards, more
Yeah.
permanents.
I mean, everything that they do, they're going to be like digging for. If the Terminus wasn't there, you know, there's swords all over. I mean, you just really don't have a whole lot going on.
No, JC has exiled a land for mana, although the color we're not sure of.
Maybe blue. Maybe he's going to go.
Not sure what he's using this for. Though he is flashing back Cabal Therapy. I guess he just wanted the mana floating first.
Okay.
So this Cabal Therapy, I assume this is a Brainstorm to try and hide the Force of Will that JC knows about. Is JC planning to fight over this? Bear in mind that Cabal Therapy, you don't name a card until the spell resolves. So currently, JC hasn't chosen a card. Oh, he's picking a fight over the Jace. This Lightning Bolt is likely target. Well, it has to be targeting Chihoi. And he'll redirect it to Jace if it resolves. So yeah, this is probably the plan all along. And remember, JC has a mana floating from that Deathray Shaman still as well. So Flusterstorm would still be enough though. Yeah. I think the Flusterstorm is for 1, 2, 3, 4. Has 4 copies or 3 copies in the original.
The Bolt.
The Brainstorm that's waiting. To
Yeah,
come
the
in,
Brainstorm. Yeah, so 4.
Yeah, 3 plus the original. We might see. Well, let's see. You can pay 3 of them, but there's still 1 copy that JC would not be able to pay for.
Can he stifle the?
He can stifle the Storm
yeah,
Trigger.
the Storm Trigger. Is that what he's? I think that may be what he's trying to do.
Wow, we have got one complicated stack. So we've got Cabal Therapy targeting Chioi without a name yet because it hasn't resolved. Chioi cast a Brainstorm in response. In response to that, JC cast a Lightning Bolt, which is targeting Chioi and is likely going to redirect to Jace the Mind Sculptor. Chioi Flusterstormed, targeting the Lightning Bolt, and with the Storm Trigger on the stack, JC has a Stifle countering the Storm Trigger.
And with still 1 mana left over from the Death Rush, I'm going to pay for the...
Correct, and right now Chioi is resolving a Sensei's Divinity Top spin, probably looking for more... I had to guess he's looking for a blue card, because his last card in hand is a Force of Will.
Just go ahead and pitch it.
Yes, probably to stop the Stifle so that the... Okay, he's fetching, probably changing the top cards of his deck, trying to find a blue card. Yeah, because if he doesn't Force Will this, he's going to lose his Jace.
He did go down to 18 off the crack side. Something tells me it's a Force of Will. So...
Oh, no, they're just updating it because he had an Arid Mesa earlier.
Oh, okay.
And that just never got updated.
I thought he was just going to go ahead and...
No, although, like I said, I think he's digging for a blue card, so it's likely to still happen here. Let's see, JC still has the 1 mana to pay for the Flusterstorm, assuming the Stifle resolves. We're not sure what else JC has in hand. Well, there's a blue card.
Yeah.
It's a costly one. It's a Brainstorm, but you can still use it. So I imagine that's what we're about to see is the Stifle being countered by a Force of Will. What a stack, ladies and gentlemen. This is Legacy right here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 card deep. Instants and sorceries. And JC has yet another spell to cast. Because he's cracking his fetch land. Or at least we assume he has a spell to cast.
Is this the Pyroblast?
It could be a Pyroblast. Could also be just a Spell Pierce of his own, or a second, or his own Flusterstorm. Who knows? At this point, you can cast a Flusterstorm and counter every spell in the stack.
That Cabal Therapy doesn't look so good right now.
Well, now it depends. It depends.
Okay.
There's still the potential for this Brainstorm to resolve.
Oh, that's true.
Actually, no, the Brainstorm is going to resolve. And there's the Spell Pierce. Yeah, so the Spell Pierce counters the Force of Will. The Stifle counters the Storm Trigger on Flusterstorm. Flusterstorm is paid for by the 1 floating black mana, or whatever colored mana from what seems a decade ago. The Deathrite Shaman exiled long before he was sacrificed. So it's going to pay. The Lightning Bolt will resolve, probably killing Jace the Mind Sculptor. The Brainstorm will resolve, and then JC gets a blind name of 1 card, hoping to hit the 1 card that's in Chihui's hand after the Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Best of moment here on the Legacy Huntsville Tour, I'll tell you that. You don't see these kind of stacks in Modern or Standard, do you?
Yeah. It's hard enough just even commenting on it, much less, could you imagine what's going on in, both their heads right now? Is it, oh wow, well, here we go.
So we've got a Sensei's Top, a Pyroclasm, and a Swords to Plowshares.
Oh, man.
Now JC knows that the Sensei's Top is on top of the deck.
Yes.
If he remembers and is willing to name that, he could get Chihuahua here. Or no, actually, I take that back. He doesn't know that Sensei's Top is on top, does he? No, he does. He does.
Yeah,
Because
he does.
He cracked his fetch land and then drew a card.
Did he remember to name the...
Apparently he did not. He must have named something else. Chihuahua flashed the top. Wow. All that, and Jace the Mind Sculptor died.
Well, That was a big game, though. I mean, how do you really beat that? So
Well, it looks like Chihoi's going to beat every creature JC plays for the next 3 turns, at a minimum.
yeah,
Because he's got a Swords to Plowshares in hand, a Pyroclasm on top, and a Terminus on top.
yeah. I still feel Chihoi is at like a major advantage right now. I mean, just having the card quality going on. There's the Grimag. We saw like way
Although
earlier.
JC has done a good job of maneuvering around as much as he
has.
could predict.
I've been very impressed with JC piloting both of these games, and the Stifles have done so much work on both of these matches.
Yep.
I've been very impressed.
Stifle's a card that seems like it's 10% or 90%. It's either
Yeah,
never good or good all the time.
yeah,
Oof, and a Delver. This is a little bit of overextending when you have a 5/5 already.
yeah. Terminus is just probably
Right around the corner. Except that JC has yet another Stifle.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Now the downside to this, of course, is Chihoi actually has 6 mana that next turn he can hardcast
Yeah.
Terminus if he has to.
I guess also JC was just thinking, at this point he's got to get some pressure going. I mean, like I mentioned, it's like so heavily in Chihoi's favor at this point. He's just got he's got card quality. That Terminus could just come around at any point. So maybe he's just like, I've got to get in there, beat him down enough, so maybe I
Wait,
can.
is that another? That's another Terminus.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, at this point, Chihoi's gonna have a hard time losing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, he's just like, what do you do? I mean, he didn't know about the Terminus at that point, but it's
Although it looks like Chihoi's deciding he doesn't need the Terminus and all those other removal spells. Maybe he's gonna actually look for a way to close this game out, and just use the removal spells he has in hand. I guess eventually you do have to find a way to win.
yeah.
We've got we're getting the life totals updated on the dice. Although you can see the life totals on the side; those are accurate. All right, so we're gonna see another top spin. We got a land, a Terminus, and a sword. So not much changed. I imagine now he'll be willing to draw the Terminus.
Yeah.
Since it's just a freebie at this point, right?
Yeah,
Nope, looks like he took the land.
Oh, wow.
He's just going to hardcast
Just
the Terminus.
hardcast the Terminus? Okay.
Well, I guess he still has the option of Miracle Terminus after this. He can use his Sensei's top to keep it in the top 3.
Yeah, in case he puts down any more pressure. That's where I was like, I guess you get pressure, you try to do some damage, and you try to finish it up with some bolts or something. I mean,
Now, from 10 life, that's a pretty good barrier against getting bolted out. He's gonna. I
I
imagine
know.
JC's gonna need another. Now he has another Gurmag Angler, doesn't he? Didn't we
Yeah,
see 2?
there's 2 Grimag Anglers.
So we can see another one of those come down. Although we know Chihoi's already got. Here it comes. Although Chihoi already has the Swords to Plowshares in hand.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
And Terminus on top. Yeah, JC would need a good string of threats here to apply any pressure long term.
Uh,
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he can draw the Force of Will. Swords to Plowshares the Gurmag,
yeah.
and then he can still hardcast. Yeah, so he's doing that on the upkeep in case JC has a counterspell, and he can still hardcast a Force of Will if he needs to.
Yeah.
Which Brainstorm. Now is that the last card in JC's hand?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it was. So there's no need to counter this. He can. Oh no, it looked like he had 1 card left.
Oh, did he?
Yes, it looked like he picked up another card. That was laying on the table.
Okay, maybe I'm not seeing it because how he's holding his hand.
Alright, so there's Deathrite Shaman.
Well.
Chihuahua's going to spin the top. I think this means we'll see another Swords of Plowshare,
Yeah.
most likely. Yep, there it is. He's going to just draw the plow, take out the Deathrite now. JC's back up to 19, and Chihuahua is still stable.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rough at this point. I mean.
Oh, there's an Entreat the Angels.
Yeah.
So
right on top.
now JC's hand is empty. He drew a land for turn and played it because I assume that means with the Brainstorm that he knew that was coming, and that's why he played it. So
yeah, he's gonna hold up a little bit.
with no cards in hand, I imagine Chihuahua just goes for this. Maybe next turn. Okay.
In case he has a. Wait.
Not
Do
sure
you have
why.
any cards? Yeah.
Well, I guess he can always do it with the top on the
Yeah, that's
on
what
the
I was
step.
thinking. But I guess like at this point you could even like hardcast like a Force of Will.
It's true.
I mean, so I don't know. I'm surprised that he just didn't. But I mean, again, Chile knows what he's doing a lot more than I do. But I was like, if he didn't have any cards in hand, I would have just went ahead and went with the Intrigue.
All right, so here it's on upkeep. I guess he's doing this, or maybe it's just on the end step as well. I'm not sure.
You get the Miracle. There's the Stifle.
So Chihoy has the option now of Force of Willing this Stifle, which only leaves him with 1 mana though. It would be for just a single. Oh no, I guess what he can do is shuffle, look with the top to find a blue card, and then he can Force of Will with the alternate cost and still have enough to make some angels.
And that looks like exactly what he's doing.
And that's a fine plan, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll go for it with JC being empty-handed, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 angels, so 16 damage. Which, I mean, JC has no way to deal with those angels anyway.
No.
Once he has 2 or 3 of them, that's all it takes. Yeah, so here he's going to draw the Force of Will.
Pitching to the Force of Will, yeah.
So that he can continue to resolve his Entreat the Angels for 4.
Yeah.
Which, like we said, that'll deal 16 damage then.
Mm-hmm.
JC checks the top card a little out of turn order, and we're on to game 3.
Oh, yeah. That was a good game, though.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, no. Again, I was real impressed with the Stifles.
Like, the Stifles have done a lot of work. It's only a 3 of in JC's list, but it seems like
I think he saw all 3 each game.
Seems like it ought to be a 4th, because he's definitely going to find use for him, that's for sure.
So did your sideboard change, you think? We're going to see those here in a minute.
I imagine there's a little bit of difference between play and being on the play and being on the draw in this matchup. With Chihoy now going on the draw, he's probably more likely, if he didn't already have both Power Blast and Red Elemental Blast, I think he's very likely to have both of those in because they're just the cheapest interaction he can get. He's likely already got the Flusterstorm. Well, we saw 1 Flusterstorm, but I imagine he'll have both because again, it's just a super cheap interaction. Pyroclasm is definitely in. We saw it that game, and I think it's the kind of thing that can get him out if he gets behind an early young Pyromancer. Yeah. For JC?
JC, I don't think a whole lot changes. I think that all the suggestions we made previously, I think those will all stay in there. I didn't see Cabal there. Well, did we see Cabal? Yeah, we did. We saw
one that he flashed back there.
Yeah.
Cabal Therapy, worth noting here, is even better on the play.
Yeah.
Because you can get the young Pyromancer out early, and then start using it for the flashback.
For the tokens. Yeah.
It's much better when you're on the play and you can get the young Pyromancer down first before you need it.
Yeah, and Null Rod, Pith and Needle, I think are still both very good. Spell Pierce, I think, stays in, and Flusterstorm. Yeah, I don't think a whole lot changes. So, looks like we called some of those sideboard options correct. So,
I really like Chihoy's list here. I think he was prepped for a metagame that was mostly going to be fair decks.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what all he was paired against in the Swiss. But I know in the semifinals he was playing against James Hess with Elves, which is traditionally a pretty good matchup for Miracles, especially if they're running the full set of Entreats and Swords. And, I'm sorry, not Entreats, Terminus and Swords.
Terminus, yeah.
And actually Entreat's a really good threat in that game too.
Just bog it up.
Well, because it end of turn you go from no board to the game's over. And they have no way to block the angels, so.
Yeah, and I may be incorrect here. I was talking about the sideboard. I keep saying Null Rod because you're only really stopping the top, which is an important part. But maybe that's too narrow. Maybe a 15 Mules.
If I was in JC's seat, I would probably bring the Null Rod in. I think Miracles, the deck relies on Sensei's Divinity Top so heavily. Like it's just worlds different when it has the top and it's functioning versus when it doesn't. That I think it's worth fighting over it. And you saw the difference there between that game where Chihoy was able to spin his top almost every turn, sometimes multiple times, find all the answers, and it didn't matter. Even though JC was able to present threats for what 3 or 4
Yeah.
turns consecutively. Chihuahua was able to just find answers when he was at the top, and
even those instant speed tournaments is just it's so bad.
so it's probably worth bringing the null rod, even if you only have one target or one permanent you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. So we got them shuffled up. I'm interested to see if a lot of people are speculating that the divining top actually might see the cut list or get banned in January. I know they talk about it all the time.
Yeah,
We've
that's
been
sort
talking
of
about it for the past 2 years.
that's the
Are they
point of
gonna ban
contention
top?
every time there's a
Every 3 months.
ban and restriction update.
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely for a multitude of reasons. The biggest one being that Legacy is not a Pro Tour format.
Yeah.
So the players who play it the most
Mhm.
are typically not Pro Tour grinders. So they have the most vested interest, and I don't feel like they complain enough.
Yeah.
So Wizards isn't that concerned, I don't think.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I like that he played the fetch. So in response to him cracking the fetch, if he cracked, he could crack on top of
Right.
it and stifle if he needed to. So
yeah, JC's putting the fear of stifle.
Yeah.
Although he's already done it 6 times this match.
yeah. So it's just good to see someone that knows what they're doing, sequencing everything correct, and even presenting threats that may not even be there. So
Yeah. Like I said, the fear of the stifle is enough.
yeah.
Now let's see if he's got. I assume getting Black Mana means that he's got either a Cabal Therapy or a Deathrite Shaman coming.
Oh,
Or
it's
it
the
could just be a
brainstorm.
brainstorm, sure.
I'm trying to think. What are you looking for here? Most likely a threat, I imagine.
Yeah, since he didn't have one on turn 1. Actually, if he didn't play one on turn 1, either means he doesn't have it or he does indeed have the stifle.
That's true.
So he's
Well, you're already ahead 1 land being on the play. So, yeah, if he loses that, I mean, but it also depends. I mean, like we saw last game, he was so behind on lands. If you can't take advantage of that fact.
Oh, sure, yeah. And
Uh,
Miracles is a good deck to not miss its land drops.
Yeah.
Between all the cantrips and the Sensei's tops, they're...
So I think just hanging back on a stifle isn't good enough. I think you want a threat.
Chihuahua hesitated on that spell. I wonder if it was a miracle. Although, not that he would cast one in this case. The way he paused sort of implied that it was something that he didn't want to just immediately stuff into his hand. Oh, there's the Sensei's top, so that's a...
There
here
goes
comes the days.
Oh, and I wonder if the stifle might...
This is going to force the action. Either Chihuahua will let the top go for fear of a stifle, or he'll attempt to crack his Scalding Tarn right into the stifle. He's really putting Chihuahua in a bind.
Yeah.
It's rare that you can get a Sensei's top out of a daze, but it looks like this might just be the time where it happens. I think Chihuahua should let this go. And indeed he does. His mana is worth a little more to him right this minute than the top is.
Mm-hmm.
It might actually have been worth not casting the top as well, just waiting on it until he had even more spare mana. So again, with the sequencing you mentioned, JC chose to play his land before cracking his fetch land, which did mean he had to take his draw step, which maybe he didn't want that card, but his play last turn didn't leave him with another option.
Yeah. I mean, we can't see JC's hand, so we don't even really know if the stifle's there or if he's just representing stifle.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of fooling us, that's for sure.
Yeah,
If he doesn't
exactly.
really have
I mean, I'm thinking stifle is there, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Chihuahua, he just can't take you can't take that risk right there either. So.
Now, like I said, now he gets to play the Gitaxian Probe, will have full information and know exactly what to play around. But we have Vendilion Click, Flusterstorm, a Flooded Strand.
Oh, I'm surprised to see the Cavern.
Cavern of Souls. I think he has one Cavern main deck. It works good with Wizards.
Yeah.
What's that? A Counterbalance and a Sword Splasher. So it's a good hand. Overall, it's got all the pieces. Yeah, and see, this is what I'm saying though. Chihuahua could have afforded to play around the days even more.
Mm-hmm.
With any of those extra lands, and his top would have probably still resolved. So.
Yeah, we got two more lands here in hand.
So he may have gotten a little hasty there. I hope that doesn't come back to bite him, because the top is a big part of this matchup. Well, it's a big part of that deck.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I don't remember. Did you see any brainstorms in there? In
No.
his hand either?
No.
So no way to
Oh,
really.
here comes the Cabal Therapy.
Oh my goodness.
And if again, JC putting the clamps to him. If he tries to fetch here to play the Flusterstorm, he's still got the Stifle ready to go.
Yeah, I still don't think you take. Well, what do you take? What do you name here with the therapy? What do you think he's naming? Think he's naming.
Most likely he'll name Counter. Yeah.
Yeah, the balance.
Counterbalance is just the best card in the abstract against JC.
Yeah.
Because it's the only one that's going to generate more than one card's worth of value.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a Terminus that does nothing. So yeah, that's another sort of a dead draw.
Yeah.
We'll see it. Probably see another fetch land played here in just the passing of the turn. I don't think Chue can afford to break his fetch lands in the face of a Stifle even yet.
Yeah. I think next turn maybe we see the Vendilion.
There's a good chance he'll go for both fetch lands, and if one gets stifled, so be it. Just to get some action on the table. Although he's not really pressed into it yet. JC hasn't presented JC now finally presented a threat, and he's calling the Stifle, which it looks like he may not have had this entire time.
Wow. Good job.
We got.
Well, he may also stifle the second one.
Well,
No.
Well, no, it's possible he might also be holding the Stifle for something
For a
else.
miracle.
Now that he knows about
Yeah, because he's got his pressure on the board.
Yeah, so he's maybe now the benefit of stifling a fetch land is lost.
He's got two other lands. Or
one more. He has the
one
cavern.
more. Yeah, he had the cavern. I'm sorry. Yeah, he played out the flooded strand last turn.
So now JC's boy, he is really bluffing this Stifle hard if he doesn't have it, because he had Chihoi pause for a second so that he could consider.
Yeah. I think maybe at this point he's just he's got a threat down and he just wants to protect that threat. So in case he tries to Terminus, or he'll just stifle that miracle trigger. Because I mean, yeah, he's got a threat down and he can just start pressuring.
Mm-hmm. Now JC does not know that Chihoi has a Terminus in hand that he drew for turn.
Yeah.
But you're right. He would like to have a Stifle available for any future miracled Termini, whatever the word is.
Mm.
All right, so here comes a Daze, which I assume is just to make a token.
I will say that is one thing I like a lot more with Mentor being played, and having those tokens have prowess instead of just a 1/1.
Yeah, so this 1/1 obviously is not enough of a clock on its own.
Yeah. It's just prowess is a real threat, especially I think in Legacy.
Well, it's much easier to trigger when you're playing a format where people play a lot of instants and sorceries. All right, so now the Wasteland has a target. We don't have confirmation, but the Cavern of Souls is almost certainly on Wizard. Every creature Chihoi's playing is a Wizard.
Yeah.
Snapcaster Mage is human, and Vendilion Click is a fairy, I believe, or a fae.
Yeah, it's a fairy wizard.
But they're all wizards, so Cavern of Souls makes all of his creatures uncounterable if he names wizards. So.
And it's certainly not worth wastelanding.
No, at this point I don't think he would even try and counter one of those creatures.
He's already...
The only reason to do it now would be just to take Chihoi down a mana.
Yeah.
Like, leave him a little more constrained, because he doesn't know that he drew the... Yeah.
Oh, he did.
We'll see. He doesn't know that Chihoi has the Terminus. I assume this is for a blue mana. We may see the Vendilion Click. JC went to combat, so... We'll find out who this is targeting, since it's obviously going to resolve, being cast with Cavern of Souls mana. Cavern of Souls is another one that it's been around for a while, but it's only just recently become really popular in the Miracles lists, and for this reason alone, just because you can force through all your wizard creatures with all their triggered abilities. Chihoi only has Snapcaster Mage and Vendilion Click, but some lists also run Venser,
Oh yeah, Venser.
the boomerang creature.
Yeah, yeah. I miss seeing Venser actually running around in standard. And he died immediately after they gave him a Planeswalker version
Oh,
in
sure.
the story, so yeah.
Oh, and now he's flashing back Cabal Therapy with the token after attacking.
Oh.
And that gets the Flusterstorm, revealing Chihui just a pair of lands. Wait,
Oh wow.
so now
But he's still got some pressure, you think with the Vendilion, I mean
I think JC's got a follow up here. Yeah.
Oh, the Grimog.
Yeah, so that's a much faster clock than Vendilion Click.
Oh yeah.
It's going to do the full delve, which leaves 1 mana up. Again, it could be a lightning bolt, it could be yet another stifle. A little curious. Chihui didn't even check to see if it was a miracle before he drew it. Anyway, there's the Tundra that we knew about. And this looks to be whatever he drew. It's a Snapcaster Mage. So that's going to find a Swords to Plowshares. Or maybe it's getting or it's the end of the battlefield trigger stifle. Man, JC has all the stifles. That's 8 in 3 games.
Yeah.
Ay.
But I mean, you can double block and kill the Grimog. You think that's worth it?
Oh, I think if given the option, he would certainly do it.
Yeah, so he still kind of doesn't have the pressure that he needs there. So
another Wasteland is timely, taking out yet another one of Chihui's mana sources. Now, we know Chihui has another land. He saw it. It's a Scalding Tarn, but keeping him denied on some amount of mana is probably still to his advantage. It keeps any future dazes live for like Jace the Mind Sculptor and those kind of spells.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Wasteland doesn't cast much anyway.
Yeah.
So he does take the trade.
Yeah. But I think, he just thinks the longer this game drags out, the more advantage Chihui has, so let's kind of clear that up.
So there's a Scalding Tarn? It's the Expedition one, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like Chihui, one of his draw steps was a land. We're not sure what else he has in hand.
Oh. It's really nice it's got the, I can't brain right now. He's got the Deathrite Shaman.
Oh, sure,
So he's got some pressure down there.
Creature for the turn. It's probably the worst threat in his deck, but it is a threat.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like we may have had an issue here with JC. I don't believe he drew an extra card. I think it looks like he saw an extra card when he went into his draw step. So
did he?
we're gonna have to get that resolved. We'll get you back to the match here in just a second when that's resolved. Again, because this is not a sanctioned or competitive RDL event, there would normally be a warning issued for that, but we can't track the warnings because we're not entering it in the database anyway. So I'm sure this was unintentional and is just going to be resolved.
I think Chihui just shuffled the deck and
we're right back at it.
Yep.
So Chihu's found a Sensei's Dividend Top. That's a good card.
That's a good sign. You think, well, he's gonna dig.
Well, it looks like,
or maybe
the brainstorm may be to try and stop this top. Now Chihu's last card in hand I saw was the Force of Will. So if he really wants to fight, he can crack all 3 of those fetch lands and hardcast it. I don't think that's what he wants to do, but he may not get a choice. JC falls to 17, and
he pitched Flusterstorm.
Chihui fetches his first land. Let's see I wonder if he's going to go for it.
Well, I think Chihui has a
he has the Force of Will in hand.
He's just going to hardcast the Force, probably.
Oh, so he's cracking these one at a time in case there's a stifle.
I see.
Now, if he had a stifle, this would be the time to do it, because after you crack all of your fetch lands, and then you don't get your last mana, which it's obvious that's what he's going for, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
So that counters the Force of Will that was targeting the Sensei's top. So now, Chihui and JC are both... No, JC has 1 card. So Chihui's empty-handed with 7 mana in play, and finally a top to start fixing his draws. I guess
something's going on here.
Well, JC's taking this
Oh, yeah.
opportunity just to exile a card, I think, from Shiho's graveyard. The Swords to Plowshares, it was.
Yeah.
I guess that takes Snapcaster Mage off the table as an out because there was only the one plow.
Yeah.
Although that wouldn't really have been much of an out anyway. And that was all on Chihuahua's turn, obviously. So now we're back to JC.
He just passed, I think.
Just draws, yeah. Chihuahua's going to spin the top on the upkeep. We've got a counterbalance, an Is It Staticaster, and a Flooded Strand. None of these answer a Deathrite, although he's got plenty of turns to try and do it. I guess he'll probably try and resolve this, the counterbalance.
So you said JC has 1 card in hand? Or 2 cards?
He has 2 now. He drew 1 for his last turn and then didn't play anything. So now the Flusterstorm is gone. And we go back to JC. Now he's lost both of his he's only lost 1 Gurmag Angler so far, right?
Yeah.
So he can still cast that. That's a card that's very easy to resolve through the counterbalance because they don't have any.
Yeah. Anyway,
there's no 7 mana spells in Miracles.
Yeah. So
Actually, in this version, there's only 1 through 6 going up to
trying to
Terminus
see what's in his hand. I see the Staticaster. I see a land.
and a Force of Will.
And a Force of Will. Okay.
So he's going to draw the land. I assume that's because he wants to dig for an answer to the Deathrite Shaman. I can't tell what that 3rd card is, but maybe it's an answer to the Deathrite Shaman. Oh no, it's a Vendilion Click. It's a faster clock than the Deathrite is right now, but I can't imagine he wants to get into a race. He would probably rather get rid of the Deathrite and then use his click to finish the game off.
Trying to find the 9.
That's all right. Like I said, the life totals on the sides of the screen are accurate. The dice we only used at the event just as a reminder for the players and for viewers in case anybody was watching the feature match area. Anyway, it's JC's turn again. He hasn't played a spell or a land or anything for the last 3 turns. He just keeps activating his Deathrite. So, wonder what the likelihood of. Oh, so he had a land, or maybe he had a land. Well, he has a land in hand.
Okay.
Whether he opts to play it or not, we'll see.
There.
Looks like he's paying 2 mana, so this is.
Maybe
Young
he's
Pyromancer?
doing something during his upkeep.
He's
No.
attempting to resolve Young Pyromancer through the counterbalance now. Chihui knows that 2 of the cards on top of his deck are Force of Will
And Stratocaster.
and Is It Staticaster. So I guess Staticaster could be a clean answer to the Young Pyromancer.
It's 3, I think, isn't it?
No, I'm saying he could just draw it and
Oh,
tap
yeah,
it
that's
and use
true.
it to kill the Young Pyromancer.
That's true.
He would have to fetch his 1 red source, his Volcanic Island, but it would be a way to get rid of the young Pyromancer. It does not, however, deal with the Deathrite Shaman, so he'd still be digging for an answer, Swords to Plowshares maybe, or a Terminus to get rid of that. And it looks like doesn't want to do either. He's just going to crack his fetch land at the end of the turn.
I think this is going to be the Volcanic. Yep.
Okay, but the issue now is he doesn't have the Staticaster in
Yeah.
hand. Now, I guess he could still draw Pyroclasm as an out.
That's true.
And this shuffle gives him 3 new looks at finding an out to these
Let's
threads.
see. Looks like a Brainstorm, an Arid Mesa, and a
Caracas.
Caracas, yeah.
So none of those are going to do it. I guess you can take the Brainstorm
Yeah, I
here.
take the Brainstorm.
It digs a card deeper, and then spinning the top digs a card deeper after that. Oh, and no, actually, Pyroclasm's off the table. So now he can't use the Staticaster or the Pyroclasm.
Yeah.
3rd card down was a Sensei's Divining Top. Those are no good. Which means he's going to Brainstorm. He gets to keep one of those cards, probably the fetch land. Sure. He'll spin again, digging 1 card deeper. This is a common Miracles trick here. It's a Tundra this time, so that's no good. Crack the fetch land. He falls to 7. There's an Entreat the Angels, but you can't cast it that way. You have to actually draw it. I assume this means he's going to go find 1 more of his basics, if he's got any left. Nope, just the Tundra. And then he'll spin the top yet again, I guess, looking for an out.
Yeah.
He's getting dangerously low on life because now he has 2 activations of Deathrite and a Lightning Bolt would do him in.
Let's see.
There's an Island, a Swords to Plowshares, and is that a Spell Pierce?
Yes. That
Okay.
is a Spell Pierce.
So Spell Pierce does nothing.
I guess you take the swords here.
Yeah,
Or you leave the swords on top, rather. I'm sorry.
well, he doesn't want to get attacked, and he really doesn't want to give JC a chance to untap and cast a bunch of spells with Young Pyromancer out. Even if they get countered, he still gets the trigger from the Pyromancer to make tokens, so
Yeah.
he should probably get rid of it right now. Or the Death Ray, one of the two. He has to get rid of something. Because he won't live past the turn, I don't. Oh no, he'll still have 1 life, but no, it's looking grim. So okay, on his own end step, he's going to Swords to Plowshares the Death Ray Shaman.
Okay. Well, but that's painful. So.
Yeah, it means the Young Pyromancer still has free reign, and if he has any spell to play, it's still a 2-turn clock.
Yeah.
So Chihui falls to 3.
Yeah.
And does JC have a spell to fall? I guess he can wait and see, because it can be an instant spell to cast on Chihui's turn.
I've been in that situation too, where he's
so-
got a ponder. I was about to say he's got to have a.
All right, here it is. He has to find either another Swords to Plowshares or a Terminus in the top 3 cards. It doesn't look like it. That's a fetch land.
Looks like a fetch, an island, and then that spell pierce that we saw earlier.
So, with 3 power on the table and no answer to it, I think this is the end of the road for Chihui. I guess you can always bluff a Terminus or something, but it's not like he's going to not go for it. Yeah, that's it. Chihui succumbs to an army of Deathrite Shamans and Elemental tokens.
Yeah, those were all like really well played games too. I mean,
very close.
Yeah, very close.
I think the story of the match here, though, is Stifle is a great card against all the triggered and activated abilities and miracles.
Yeah, it did work the entire game, and they were like expertly played. I think every time they came out. So
now he was fortunate to always find them.
Yeah.
So many of them, but it worked out very well for him.
Yeah, it was ever present, even if it wasn't present. Yeah.
Even when he had to bluff it.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, JC Goldman wins the semifinals against Chihui Yim. He's going on to the finals to face Andrew Mays. We'll see you then.